Another Saturday night.
And you're here with us. And wherever you are in the world and whenever you are in the world, you're here with us. So pull up a bar stool.
I'm liking what's going on here.
Okay, there's a lot that's going on. We're going to call this one Rum Rebellion. And let me tell you how important rum is to the Australian economy. Rum was first brought to Australia by the First Fleet. So the very first boatload of people who came to Australia, there were a lot of sailors. And what do sailors like to drink? They love to drink rum. They came to Australia and there was such a short supply of British currency that effectively all trade was done through barter. And that meant if you had a commodity that was worth trading, you would get the goods that you wanted and you could set the prices however you wanted as well. Now, the chief commodity that was used for trade was rum. That meant we really had a rum currency.
I like this currency already.
Yeah, it's a fantastic history. So when Governor King came to Australia, he had a look at the books and he realised that rum that was costing a pittance, 10 shillings, was being sold for £2 for the exchange of goods. And the rum was largely controlled by the New South Wales Corps. What that effectively meant was that the military had the economic control of Australia because they controlled the importation of rum, they controlled the price of rum, and they were the ones who had the rum and could actually hand it over and get whatever goods that they wanted at the price that they'd set. Big problem. Now, we had Bligh come across to Australia, the same Bligh from Mutiny of the Bounty.
Yep.
The guy who was ejected from his boat, put in a little rowboat and made it hundreds of miles across to Timor. That same guy, he came across to Australia and became Governor Bligh. Now, he was always at loggerheads with people. He'd already had a mutiny where he was ejected from the boat, from the Bounty. And here he was in New South Wales.
Lots of people skills he had, is it?
I think that's what it was. Although I think he retired a rear admiral back in Britain. So he did okay for himself. But effectively, in the first coup d'etat in Australia, the first seize of state, where the military took control of our government, they took the control away. They arrested it from him. And it was in the hands of the military for 2 whole years. And that's what we call in Australia the Rum Rebellion. Are you starting to see just how important rum is to Australia? It took a while. Eventually what they did was import some currency from Spain, which was actually minted in Mexico, and they put a hole in it, and effectively you had the coin and then you had the dump of it, and that became our currency.
And they had that currency around their neck, like with a shoelace, because you could
You could wear it like that. The problem was that started to become counterfeit.
Yeah.
So the problems went on and on. But suffice to say, rum was the chief currency in Australia.
Rum's got a lot to answer for.
Yeah, so that goes back to 1808. So Australia was still very, very young. But Bundaberg rum, this is really the iconic Australian rum in terms of volume. They've been around since 1888, very early on the scene. Rum was made probably some 9 years before that in Australia by another Queensland company. But Bundaberg certainly got a very big history.
It's straight out of our sugarcane fields.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So sugar is an interesting crop because different countries who are able to grow something to make sugar of use different commodities. Australia, we use sugarcane, and our rum is made from sugarcane. America, I know that you use beets to make your sugar, to some extent together with corn. And when I lived in Germany, sugar beets was the main thing that they used. But rum, traditionally, it's made of sugarcane like this. And what they do, the process, really, there's no miracle to it. Now, you may have heard of sugar and molasses. Sugar, what they do with cane is they crush it, because it's actually pretty hard. One of the most beautiful things I saw was driving down towards Port Douglas and just going past fields and fields of sugarcane.
Yep. And yes. And then, of course, snakes like hiding in there.
Are we still talking politics?
Yeah, snakes like hiding in there.
We're talking real snakes.
Yeah, we're talking real snakes. But then those snakes became a problem because they were losing too many of their hired hands.
So what did they do?
Well, we got a good idea.
Oh.
We'll bring in some cane toads. They love eating snake. Cane toads. You know your American-style footballs? That's the size of these critters. And it's a toad. It's the size of a football.
Yeah, and they're as attractive as your mother-in-law's behind.
Well, I've seen some mother-in-laws and, they're not all bad.
Let's have a bit of a look what we've got here. Now, there's brown rums and there's white rums. If you love your cocktails, let's say you're into... Do you like pina coladas?
I do.
Okay, I thought you were going to sing.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Pina coladas, you add some more tropical flavours to it, like coconut milk, for example. Yep. Okay. Or a mojito, you start to macerate some... I said macerate?
You did. I was holding back.
These are all done with white rum. So white rum is ideally what you use for cocktails. You really are a little bit less open with what you can do with a brown rum.
Like the Bacardi, the blank Bacardi rum.
Mostly, yeah. Now, there's a big difference between the white and the brown culturally. Here's the hard and fast rule, although there's always exceptions. Brown rums are produced and liked by the English-speaking world. White rums by the Spanish-speaking world.
Is that right?
Yeah, now
I never knew that.
about it,
Okay.
and it'll make sense to you as well.
Okay.
So things like the Bacardis that you spoke about. Oldest rum in the world, the oldest company would be Mount Gay in Barbados, 1703. We're getting a lot of puns into that.
Yeah, I never heard of that.
Try this. See what
this
you get
one's
from this.
which?
This is a standard Bundaberg one, so it's an underproof, but it's a standard one that every Aussie likes and enjoys. Often with a soft drink, something like a Coca-Cola, you could do a dark and stormy with it.
So, yeah,
as well.
generally you go into a pub and you order a Bundy and Coke.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's unusual. Here, you never order a rum and Coke.
No, you're
No,
right. It's
you
always
don't.
a Bundy and Coke.
Yeah, that's it. Short for Bundaberg, obviously, but that's the Australian drink of choice.
Okay, so the nose is immediately sweet. It's not complex in any way, shape or form.
No.
It's something which is sugary, which is sunshine in a bottle, really. It's infused with sugar and alcohol, and it's
warming.
ready to
It's nice.
add to something else which is equally sweet. It's fantastic at doing that.
I've never been a rum man myself, but it's not bad.
Now, you had a question for me regarding the bear on the label.
Oh yeah, for God's sake, were they tripping on acid when they came up with that?
Okay, so the McMahon family were instrumental with Bundaberg, and McMahon in Scots Gaelic means son of a bear. So there you've got the bear.
I don't have an issue with that. Okay, we're in the southern hemisphere.
Yep, last time I checked.
Okay, when was the last time you saw a polar bear in Australia?
Well, I mean, in point of fact, you won't. Antarctica is named from anti-arctos in ancient Greek, meaning no bears. So what he did was simply pick the bear that he liked the best, which was the polar bear. And so we've got the polar bear.
So he was tripping.
Possibly.
A polar bear.
Another country which has been involved with the production of rum close to us is Fiji. Again, English-speaking nation because of colonialisation. And their rum history is... it's a little bit sad in that there was indentured servants that were used at the start to make rum. Over time, the Australian company, the Commonwealth Sugar Refining Company, came in and established a lot of rum production. I don't think they're anymore in Fiji with that. So if you have a look at rum from Fiji, it's that dark colour as well. And this is an overproof one that we've got. And named the Bounty, and we've just spoken about Bligh and the Bounty that he was ejected from.
That was actually a present, shall we say?
That was a present?
Yeah, I told him that we're going to be making a video on rums. So he thought he would give us a contribution to one that we didn't have on hand.
And for an overproof, it doesn't smell as
Oh, but that
alkaline
has
as
got
I
a
expect.
completely different smell. That's been toasted. That's been in burnt wood or something.
Okay, so brown rums will be put in oak. They'll be put in white oak, and generally it'll be charred. And the more charred it is, the more flavour you'll get, as well as the darker the colour that you'll get. But it doesn't stop manufacturers from putting caramel in if they want to change it. So typically a Bundaberg rum like we've got here is on oak for 2 years. Now the white rums, the ones generally from the Spanish-speaking cultures, pretty much steel is what they use.
What?
Yeah.
So it's basically just a blank white spirit. There's really
Yes, it
no
is.
flavour to it.
Well, yes and no. I would say that, for example, Bundaberg also does a white rum, but what they do is they distill it 5 times to make it white. So you can also distill it to make it whiter,
Huh.
or just simply don't introduce it to wood. So it depends what you want to do. I saw something the other day on social media, and I thought I'd fork out of my pocket so you don't have to get this lovely array of shots that we're going to try.
Was that on social media?
Yeah, now these
I was wondering where you
are
got that full
manufactured
pack.
by Bundaberg. I've got 4 different sorts here, that's what the pack was, and they are liqueurs. So this one here, for example, is a rum ball. We're going to start with the very first one, and I notice, Seuss, that you've got some titty shots there.
Well, if you're going to do shots, you might as well do titty shots. I've always said that.
I think so, and being gunner, I've actually got shots here, which I'm going to try. Now, the very first one we're going to do, if you take from the left, this is the banana and toffee.
Oh, I can smell that in there straight away. The toffee straight away hits your nose. Mm-hmm. The classic toffee. Not smelling banana.
Oh, I'm getting that. That's lovely. That's like a chewy
Straight
sweet.
away. As soon as you tasted the rum and toffee come through, but you can't smell it.
But the banana as well is
Oh,
washing.
yeah.
Yeah. Now, a lot of you might think that, hey, when I taste something that's flavoured banana, it doesn't taste anything like the bananas that I buy at my grocer's. And there's a reason for that. Pretty much every banana which you can buy in the Western world today is a Cavendish banana. It's not tasty. The reason for that is we used to have one called Coeur Michel or Big Mike. And what happened to Big Mike was that there was a plague, and basically it was wiped out. It was a great banana because you could transport it. It wouldn't bruise. It would take a long time to ripen. And as soon as it arrived at port, it was ready to ripen, and it was in great condition. And it tasted like this. It tasted like the food additives for banana that you're used to. Now, there's 2 reasons why they didn't change the flavour profile of the food additives to give you that old thing. First off is that it costs money to reinvent the way that something tastes. And secondly, it just tastes better. So what your great-grandparents were eating for bananas was so much better than the Cavendish that we have today.
Tell you what, I don't mind that. I might venture out and
You might put it down on your
get me
notepad.
some of them.
Okay, so we both recommend the banana and the toffee.
Oh, yeah.
Why don't you go on to the coffee and chocolate?
Oh, I don't mind my little shoddy as well.
It's good to feel.
I reckon that's a D cup. This one I notice is a lot darker.
Yeah, coffee and chocolate.
Well, that'll explain it.
Yep, I'm getting the coffee.
Same here, but it's not the coffee like we had in that, what the hell do they call it? The white...
Oh, the tiramisu beer that we had.
Yeah. So it's not that strong a coffee flavour. It's coming through.
It's got a little
but
bit of
it's
depth,
subtle.
hasn't it? But it's got more depth for coffee than what I expected. So it doesn't hit the palate straight away, but it starts to come through. And don't forget, it's fighting against the initial taste of chocolate and the smell of chocolate, which is sweeter. And you're going to get a lot of sweetness out of this because, for a start, the base of this, for heaven's sake, is sugarcane, okay? It's going to be sweet. And then what you do to make a liqueur, you make a liqueur basically by infusing it with yet more sugar. That's how a liqueur is made. The alcohol is 20% across the board for these ones.
Okay.
So it's a lot lower. It's a lot sweeter. And that's what you're getting.
Tell you what, you drizzled some of this over ice cream.
And that's one of the serving suggestions for pretty much all of these if you go onto their website.
That's brilliant.
So the next one is my wife's very favourite one, which is salted caramel. And salted caramel is sort of, I think, the new black or the new white in Australia, whatever's fashionable at the time, for the next 5 minutes. Salted caramel, everything.
Okay. Oh, straight away. That one hits you like straight in the face. Yeah, that one, the chocolate coffee one was a lot more subtle. This one...
Yeah, but it came through.
Yeah, this one, just the caramel just hits you straight in the face. As soon as you just put your snoot in it.
You put your what?
Snoot.
Okay.
Did you like that, snoot?
I did actually.
Yeah. Oh, that's not bad.
It's not my favourite by a long shot. In fact, I'd say it's trailing last so far. But for my wife, it's the crowd pleaser. It's the one that she loves. So...
Well, for me, these two are neck and neck.
Okay.
The banana and the caramel.
Coffee. Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, the coffee is, too subtle for me.
Well, let's bring it to a screaming conclusion with the rum ball. I mean, this, I guess, is rum that tastes like rum, yeah?
What gave that away?
Rum ball. They actually suggest you can actually crush a rum ball over it if you want to. They're just beautiful. Hold the bottle up. Aren't they just beautiful?
They are very well done.
They feel fantastic to the hand as well.
Yeah, they've added that extra texture to the
Yeah.
bottle, whereas that one's just plain.
You know this, okay, so I said that sort of as a lark. The joke's probably on me because I can imagine this with ice cream and it would just, please try the rum ball, it would just be wonderful. What are you thinking? Oh, yes?
Oh my God, that is bringing back so many memories from me at Marjorie's.
That's where you did your pastry, chef?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Almost identical.
Now, I heard the go with
Wow.
rum balls in Australia was you had cakes which were basically on their last leg
Yes.
and they had to go out the door. So you'd basically destroy them.
Yep.
You'd add a
You
lot
mashed
of
them up and
rum
you add
to it.
flavours to it.
And generally,
Very rarely rum. It was rum
Really?
essence,
Essence.
rum flavour. Yep.
another thing for brown rums over white rums is that brown rums are generally consumed neat, so you don't really make a cocktail out of it. But also, if you're cooking, it's the brown rums that you reach for rather than the white rums.
Yep.
We are going to do more exploration into the world of rums for the simple fact that I'm starting to enjoy it. One of your very, very good friends is a Navy man.
Yes.
And he started to introduce you to the whole culture of rum and coming offshore,
Yes.
coming onto shore and going for the best rum that there was in port.
I have a huge collection over there. Now, again, I'm not a big rum drinker, but like I said before, I'll try anything once, twice if I like it. Actually, I think I like a couple of these, so these might end up on my shelf. But yeah, there's a huge selection of rums over there, and I think it would be remiss of us if we didn't introduce it to our audience and see what they think. And
Oh, I think so too, particularly trying some of the ones from the Caribbean.
okay,
Yeah.
Well, I even got a couple there from Havana.
Yeah. And that's something which we can talk to you about in America because we know that you can't get your hands on it, but we can.
Oh, maybe they can now because they've opened up a lot of the.
I'll be surprised.
They've lifted a lot of the trade sanctions. Maybe we're wrong. Let us know.
Let us know. And if you like what we're doing, and actually a lot more people are starting to watch our videos, thank you for that.
Yeah.
You're always welcome at the bar with us. Do us a favour, like, subscribe, comment, do all that sort of stuff. Share it with somebody else as well.
And lift a glass while you like and subscribe.
Thank you.
Good on you.